Let's address the GAR regulations once again from a foreign investor perspective, because they are, of course, the target of taxation. Robert Prior-Wandesforde, who's the head of India and Southeast Asia Economics at Credit Suisse, joins us from Singapore. Robert, great to have you on the show. While the Finance Ministry has clarified that there need to be some regulations or some steps that need to be cleared in the form of some tests to qualify as a P-note transaction, they've also said that P-notes will be treated as a separate asset class, and the fact that the worry in the minds of market participants is a bit exaggerated. What do you make of the clarifications that have come out so far, and what is it that you would specifically be seeking from the Finance Ministry at this point?
Well, I guess the clarifications are helpful, and we've seen that in the bounce in the equity market during the course of today. I mean, obviously, from a foreign investor's point of view, one would like to see complete clarity that the P-notes will not be involved in this potential change. They will not be subject to capital gains tax obligations and so on. So we really need a crystal clear indication that that's the case, and there's also no plans for it to be the case anytime soon.
What about the four-step procedure that's been laid out, the clearing of the tests to qualify as a P-note, and then assessing whether or not a P-note transaction needs to be taxed? Do you see any kind of grey area out there?
Well, I think with all these things, there is certainly the danger of a lack of clarity and confusion, and exactly how these four steps clarifications will be interpreted in practice. So I think really that we need, for foreign investors, will be looking to see something from the Finance Ministry suggesting that the P-notes are not will not be subject to this potential capital gains tax issue. Full stop. I think that's ideally what they'd like to see. Whether the government is prepared to give that is a very different matter, particularly obviously when the government is clearly scratching around for every possible rupee that it can possibly get its hands on.
Okay. Robert, if you're still there, just wondering, I know you gave a brief of what you think has come out in terms of the clarifications. The point really is, from the geography at which you are perched in right now, with all that has come out till now, and of course, what our sources say is that the authorities have also said that there will not be any kind of double taxation. Is it comforting enough for an FII to come out and invest money in India that he was earlier going to before this PN issue came about?
Well, I think they will need further clarification on all this, further details as to exactly how it will work, and which P-notes are eligible and which are not, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's a potential obstacle to being involved, but most foreigners use other routes to gain access to the market. I think that's one very important point to make. And as I see it in a sort of more general sense, I mean, I still think that India's, although structurally damaged and structurally strained in many ways, from the end of last year, we've argued, and we still believe that the economy is going to see something of a sweet spot this year, which will encourage more and more in the way of foreign institutional investor flows. What I mean by that cyclical sweet spot is I think growth is bottoming out, will pick up. I think inflation is going to come down, unsurprised, on the downside, and I think interest rates will also fall. Now, clearly the market has started to worry about the scale of those interest rate cuts. In other words, that there won't be very much, if at all. I think we're going to see some meaningful rate reductions. That's good news for equities. Ironically, it's also good news for currency to the extent that it encourages those inflows. And I think the other point I'd make in the context of today's trading is that the rupee has clearly done very well, outperformed significantly other Asian currencies, and so that's a reassuring sign, I think, as well.
Sure, fair enough, Robert. Many thanks for joining us.